Hey guys, so it turns out my most popular video I've ever made is how to manual. It turns out a lot of people want to learn how to manual. I guess, you know what? It's a tricky thing to do, it takes a lot of practice, and sometimes you're just not sure how to go about it. So today I wanted to take you through 5 more tips that I have that might be able to help you learn how to manual. And if you haven't seen my video on how to manual, I'll link it up here and I'll put it down in the description. Maybe I'll put it in the comments and you can watch that one too. So my first tip that I think a lot of people don't really consider, because it's not something you do on the bike or with your body even, it's filming yourself. And now what I like to do is get one of these little tripods that I can put my phone in, I set it up, I record myself, and I just see how's my progress going. Does it look like I'm trying to do a manual or any trick really? Does it look like I'm getting in the right position? And sometimes the way something feels when you're doing it on the bike, well, it just doesn't actually work that way. You know that jump you hit that looked really big? Well, you record it and it turns out it's not nearly as big as it felt. And I think that's true with learning tricks as well. So when you're learning to manual, maybe set your phone up. You don't necessarily need one of these tripods, just lean your phone up against whatever you have, a rock or something, and just record yourself. Record yourself pulling up, seeing how long you can get into a manual, seeing if you're getting into the right position, and maybe you're gonna notice some mistakes you're making. Maybe you're not pumping with your legs right, maybe you're pulling with your arms too much. And this really is a great way to learn anything. But today we're gonna use it to learn how to manual. And if you're really stuck learning how to manual, at least you have this video, you can show someone who does know how to manual, and maybe they can give you some more tips. So, go film yourself. I'll leave a link to a tripod or something like this down in the description. If you want to check it out on Amazon, I'll have an affiliate link. Now I try to think back to how I learned how to manual and the things I did that sort of all added up together to let me get to the place I am today. And I think a big problem that people have is just getting the front wheel up and knowing how that feels and just getting used to it. One of the tips that I said in my last video was just get out there and pull up a lot. That helped me a lot. I was always just playing around, jumping off curbs, pulling up onto curbs and things like that. And that just got me used to pulling that front wheel up. When you get a little more comfortable, you pull up a little harder, you start to kind of feel like, oh, like I can get the wheel high enough and I can kind of stay up on the back wheel for a while. And that's how the manual starts to come. If you're still having trouble getting that front wheel up, one of the things that I used to do is just actually pull up onto things. So curbs, and then bigger curbs. I would just find bigger ledges or sort of hills if you don't want to hit your back tire too hard. And I would just pull up the front wheel and see how high I could roll up onto something. This just gives your mind something to focus on. You know, you need to pull up the wheel a certain height to get up onto it. And instead of just guessing and feeling like where you should pull up your front wheel, this just gives you a real benchmark. You pull up your front wheel, you get on, you know you got on, and there you go. So I think this is a great way to practice. And you can find these curbs pretty much anywhere. Schools are a good place that have lots of weird architecture, weird curves that change height like this one, and just have fun with it. A lot of times you don't need to go out and practice this. You know, you can just do it while you're waiting for your friends to come ride bikes or waiting for them at the trailhead. Just find something to pull up on or over or whatever you can do. Just pull up onto curbs, look for a bigger curb, look for trees and stumps or anything at the trailhead. Just get used to pulling that front wheel up and give yourself something to aim for so you know you're pulling your wheel up a certain height, you're getting used to getting up on that back wheel. So go try it out, see if that helps teach you how to manual. Another big thing when learning how to manual is I think people are just afraid to get up onto the back wheel because it's really easy to fall back and you're gonna hit your butt, you're gonna get hurt. It's not very fun. So I recommended in my last video, you learn how to jump off the bike. That stops you from being so scared. You know that if you go up, pull your front wheel up, you're starting to fall backwards, you just jump off, it's not a big deal. But when you are manualing, especially if you're going fast, you don't want to jump off. You want to use your brake, you want to feather it. So one of the tips I have, one of the things that I kind of did was I would pull up a little bit and then just brake. I would pull up again and then just brake. And I would just keep pulling up and braking. I wasn't pulling up so far that I needed to brake to come back down, but I would do it just so I could get used to that feeling of being on the back tire and then pulling the brake and feeling what that feels like to come back down. This just gets you used to that motion. You're starting to go back, you're pulling up, you're on the back wheel, you pull the back brake, stops you, you come back down. This is part of the skill of doing a manual. When you're in the balance position, you start to fall a little too far back, and you can't use your body to get the front wheel down anymore, you feather the brake. Or you use the brake to stop you from flipping backwards and you just come back down. So find a nice empty parking lot and just pull up as high as you can and then grab the brake. Just keep doing it. These kind of things just train your body, get your muscle memory ready so that you can put all these things together and do a manual. So get out there, practice, see if that helps. So keeping with the theme of getting that front wheel up, another tip I have is to use your pedal power. And now this is kind of a crossover between learning how to wheelie and learning how to manual, but if you're finding that just using your arms, using your legs, you're still not really getting that feeling, you're not getting the front wheel up enough, you can give a little pedal kick, just like a trials rider would. So find a nice flat space, try out a few different gears, usually a pretty light one, third, fourth gear, and just give a little pedal kick. And now you're going to use that braking that we just practiced to stop you from flipping backwards. You can combine them both. So you give a little pedal kick, and then you grab the brake, come back down. And that way you can just kind of get used to going up on the back wheel, come back down. Go up on the back wheel, come back down. Eventually you're practicing this, you kind of start to feel where your balance point is. It's all about just training your head, getting that muscle memory, figuring out where the balance point is, and then you won't even have to think about it. It'll be second nature, you just pull up and you can do a manual. But until you train yourself to do that, it's kind of weird. So you have to do these little things to try and practice. And again, that's find a nice flat area, get into the right gear, and just do a little pedal kick to get the front wheel up. And this way too, you can kind of decide on your own how much of a pedal kick you want to give, how high you want the front wheel to come. You can sometimes do a pedal kick, grab the back brake, and then just kind of balance. You'll feel where that balance point is. Again, getting up on that back wheel like a trials rider, finding that balance point, that's what this is all about. So get out there, practice your pedal kicks to get that front wheel up. So in my last video, one of the things I recommended again was dropping off a curb, but going a little further back every time. So you were doing, when you drop off a curb, you are doing a little bit of a manual. But if you go a little further back, then you're doing more of a manual. Then you go a little further back, and you're doing even more of a manual. And again, you're just giving yourself that benchmark that your eyes can see. You can say, I want to start here at this line. I want to drop off over here. My back wheel needs to roll along this length. That way you know too, if you're improving, if you're doing things right, then you can start to see. I can pull up from 1 foot away, 2 foot away, 5 feet away, 10 feet away, 20 feet away. Now you're kind of just teaching yourself the manual just by sort of playing this little game of how far away from the curb can I manual. So if you can already bunny hop, which at the time when I was learning how to manual, I could already do somewhat of a bunny hop. When I would go to bunny hop up curbs, I would just try and go from a little further back. That is, just start from a little further back. You'd have to pull up the front wheel to go to do the bunny hop, and then you pull the back wheel, get on the curb. So again, you do it from a regular bunny hop, and then you do it from 1 foot away, and then 2 feet away, and 3 feet away, 10 feet away, and then just how far away from the curb can you be and still bunny hop up. It's all these things, all these little games that you play that come together and teach you how to manual. And a side tip really is, if you're just trying one thing and it's not working, just try something else. It's all about just trying all the things and just seeing what works for you. Just because I learned how to manual this way doesn't mean it's going to work for sure for you, and you might have an entirely different set of tips. What I want to do is just give you some ideas. So get out there, find a curb, a speed bump, maybe just put a stick on the ground and see how far away can you go and still bunny hop over it, onto it, whatever. You don't want to think of these things as practicing, you just want to make these little games up so that you're just having fun on your bike. It's not a chore at all. So get out there and do some far away bunny hops. Another thing I did when I was kind of trying to learn how to mountain bike, learn how to ride trials, was I really wanted to get up on the back wheel and, you know, do those back wheel hops and learn how to manual and all that sort of stuff. But I couldn't really, I wanted to find my balance point kind of like with a manual machine, but I didn't have anything like that. So what I would do is I would put my front wheel on something kind of high, maybe just a curb or kind of a steep hill, and then I would lock up the brakes, get on the bike, and then just pull back. You just have to pull your front wheel up a little bit off whatever it is, and you kind of start to feel like, oh, there's my balance point. And this is just another one of those things that's trying to get you to find your balance point, get a little more comfortable on the back wheel, and just have fun with it. So this is kind of a way to practice like a manual machine, but not have to build one. Find something like a curb or whatever it is, put your front wheel on it, lock up the brakes, lean back, find the balance point, and just have fun with it. So get out there, lean back, find your balance point. So that's just a few more tips that I have. These are just things that I did that taught me how to manual, and hopefully they might help you too. And if you want a cool crew neck sweater like this, I'll leave a link to my Teespring down in the description, and If you buy a sweater, it really helps the channel, so thanks a lot. All right, let's go do some manual. See you guys in the next one.